Well, the European Union and the World Economic Forum are in full panic mode. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Davos time. Yes, another WEF conference in Davos. They've all gathered all the sycophants, all the lobbies and the so-called world leaders are there. Ursula von der Leyen, the dictator of the European Union, already came out to basically say the plan is not going well. Globalism is failing. We know why. Because there's a backlash from a number of countries, people who are pushing for sovereignty, self-determination and democracy. With the return of the Donald, they are panicking. With the success of Javier Milei in Argentina, they are panicking. And the rise of the political right in the continent of Europe. Ursula von der Leyen came out to say, the cooperative world order we imagined 25 years ago hasn't turned into a reality. Well, that's good. Instead, we have entered a new era of harsh geostrategic competition. The race is on. So these guys obviously are a little bit obviously worried about what they've been selling or mis-selling to the global population, that we are the wise people. We know, we are the experts, and we can just run your life. We will help you. We will save you from yourself. Seems like people don't actually want that. So obviously, every year on Tousi TV, we cover what happens in Davos, the World Economic Forum. So this year, they are focusing on a number of key issues, which we're going to talk about in this video. 9 buzzwords that you might hear from Davos this year. This is according to the World Economic Forum themselves. Number 1, the AI agents. These are systems that can sense, learn, and take action all by themselves. So they've been panicking about the rise of AI, the AI revolution, because as a concept, it gives more autonomy and self-determination to individuals. So what they've been trying to do is that they want to take control of that so that they could, in a centralized way, monitor and regulate the AI as a concept. And this is the massive concern that a lot of people have. They tried to do the same thing about 25 years ago or so, with the rise of the internet. They realized that the internet is actually giving more people and more power to the people. Access to information accelerated massively. Self-determination went up. People became intelligent, obviously were more informed, and they tried to centralize the internet. They couldn't. But with AI, they're going to try their best to create centralized systems to do exactly that. That's one. Number 2, digital trust, which is kind of interconnected to the other one. This is the expectation that the digital technologies uphold societal values. They always tend to become pseudo-philosophical when it comes to technology, when it comes to anything that relates to advancement of humanity. And they believe that they are the gods and they have to be in charge of that. This is a bit of a problem, because when they say trust, selling digital trust is basically manipulating people. It's about creating propaganda because they want full control. The intelligent age goes back to the AI, so it seems like most of the focus is going to be on artificial intelligence, which on its own has already been a worrying concept for a lot of people in terms of the future of humanity, how it will affect it. But if these people try to get corporations and world governments to go around and control everything and centralize it in the name of keeping you protected from AI, I don't think people are going to be protected from the AI. So that's another one. Now, by globalization, this is quite fascinating. This is the way to obviously create the one thing that we have to talk about actually is about all the geopolitical issues, right? What they want to do is to, in order to go against polarization, they say, as Ursula von der Leyen said as well, the race is on. Competition, geopolitical competition, strategic competition, all this is resulting in these people trying to find a new way to get back into your life, to control it. Sometimes one of the things that they do is to use corporations and essentially the private sector to have control over your life on a daily basis, right? The second method is to use the government. So they bring out the prime ministers and presidents, they come up with policy ideas, they suggest policy ideas, obviously it's a lobby group, and they try to do it that way. If the governments don't work, for example, in the United States with Trump, in Argentina with Milei, and many other countries as well, even Viktor Orban in Hungary, what they end up doing is they bypass it. And what they do is they use corporations and companies that consumers use every day to basically influence your everyday life. Tariffs. Of course, we know that a fair and free trade is a good idea as long as the two parties are actually on a level playing field. So these people are going around saying, oh yeah, we need to fight against tariffs. Well, normal people are against tariffs because it's extra taxation technically. But you can't, for example, have the United States or the United Kingdom having a free trade deal with China because China is cheating. So you have to have tariffs to protect your industries. If you have, the concept of global trade is a good idea, but only it has to be based on common sense. I always say, for example, if in the UK, we can only, for example, build this, but we can't build, I don't know, this, hypothetically. But next door, France, are able to build this. We sell this to France, we buy this from France. That's it. That's how it should be. If you can make this in your own country, don't buy it from France. That's not how it should be. You actually should support your own industries. And it's not protectionism. It's not the same as being an isolationist. But they want to make it a binary choice. They want to make it black and white. To say, well, if you don't do that, that means you hate trade or you hate compassion, you hate humanity. No, we like common sense. Of course, they have to talk about the aging population as well. Super aging societies. These are countries where more than 1 in 5 people is 65 or older. They see it as a burden because they see it as a burden mostly because of the pension system and obviously the healthcare system and everything else. There have been so many psychopaths who came up with ideas in terms of depopulation. There have been a lot of people who coming up with ideas to strengthen the pension system by basically destroying the rest of the economy. It's very concerning that they don't really have a practical solution when it comes to the aging population. They're not happy about it, let's just say. So obviously they're going to be focusing on that as usual. Talent scarcity. So this goes back to the new person in charge of the World Economic Forum after Klaus Schwab is actually a very, very psychopathic character who wrote the book Sapiens, but also a number of other books. Well, international selling as well. He writes well, but very, very concerning. And one of the main issues that the World Economic Forum have been talking about is the useless population, the useless class. So these are the people who they want to basically promote ideas like the universal basic income. So you don't have to work, but the government will pay you. You'll be dependent on the government because they say, well, we're not building anymore. We don't need to build things anymore, right? So a lot of people will be bored. So what do we do with them? They're useless. So we have to basically either find people who can be educated to be skilled workers or give them something else to do, because otherwise they are a burden on society, just like the pensioners. So it's a big concern as well. Advanced nuclear technologies, again, this is just as it is, that they are focusing on that, even though on the one hand they always talk about the threats to climate change and everything else, but they're still very much focusing on not promoting actual clean nuclear energy while being against nuclear bombs. So they don't really push for that. So they're trying to embrace this now. They're trying to hijack nuclear as a concept, but it's not what you think. It's not because they are now suddenly pro-nuclear power. They're not. They're still against nuclear power, but what they want to do is to centralize it. They want to centralize on a global scale. And obviously we'll be covering that as usual as well. And the 9th point is positive tipping points. These are societal and economic shifts. Now, these are the things that goes back to behavioral psychology. They fully understand that economics is not about numbers. It's not about data. They know that, but they want to pretend that it is. They want to basically follow what Keynes was doing. And obviously Keynes was one of the people who completely destroyed our world as we know it, the world order, by fully pushing for ideas like the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and all the other globalist entities. Economics, as a concept, is the study of human action and human behavior. That's all it is. They know it. That's what they want to focus on it. But when it comes to telling you and getting your chancellors, your finance ministers all around the world, they still pretend that Keynesianism works. Yeah, economics is simply about numbers. So we should do this. We should understand numbers. No, it's not. is about understanding human activity and human behavior. So they know it. They want to control it while getting government ministers and prime ministers and presidents to still print money like there's no tomorrow and try to manipulate the markets. This is the latest from the World Economic Forum in Davos. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.